Okay, imagine this. You suddenly need a lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
It could be for anything. A business deal gone wrong,
Right.
a family matter, or maybe you just got served with some, totally unexpected legal papers.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about stressful.
That's stressful.
Right.
Usage.
It could feel like you're just drowning in a sea of unknowns.
Yeah.
And figuring out where to even begin
Yeah, right.
can be a total nightmare.
It is true. And it's interesting because even though finding a lawyer seems like it's purely practical,
Right.
there's a huge psychological component at play, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about finding someone who,
Right.
knows the law inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
It's about avoiding those common traps
Right.
that can leave you feeling like,
Oh, yeah.
like you made the wrong choice.
Totally, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this deep dive, you've got all this amazing research about finding a lawyer.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack it together, pull out the must-know info, and hopefully give you, the listener, the tools to navigate this whole process, feeling confident and informed,
Yeah.
not completely overwhelmed.
Exactly. And it really is a process. It's a journey you're going on.
It is.
Let's start by diving into something that comes up again and again in the research: the power of personal referrals.
Okay.
Why do you think that is? What makes a recommendation from someone you know so valuable in this context?
Well, off the top of my head, I guess it's about trust.
Uh-huh.
You're more likely to trust someone who's been vouched for by someone you already trust.
You're absolutely right.
Oh.
A recommendation from a friend or a colleague
Mm-hmm.
who's gone through a similar legal situation
Right.
provides a level of insight that you just can't get
Right.
from an online profile.
Yeah.
They can tell you not only about the lawyer's competence, but also their communication style,
Oh. Well.
their personality, their fees, and even their quirks. It's like getting a behind-the-scenes look before you even step into their office.
That makes sense. So it's not just about winning the case.
Right.
It's about feeling comfortable and understood throughout the entire process.
Precisely. Think of it this way.
Okay.
Your lawyer's going to be your battle buddy
Mm-hmm.
in what could be a very stressful situation.
Right.
You need someone you can trust, someone who gets you,
Yeah.
someone who you can be open and honest with,
Right.
even when things get tough.
Mm-hmm.
And that personal connection, that sense of compatibility can make all the difference.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But let's be real.
Okay.
Not everyone has, this vast network
Right.
of lawyer-using friends they can just call up.
Yeah.
So that's where these online directories come in, right?
Yeah.
Your research mentions Avvo, FindLaw, Justia.
Those are great.
What should we be looking for when we're using those platforms?
Well, those are all great starting points. They're like the Google search of the legal world.
Okay.
But you have to be savvy about how you use them.
Yeah.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
You're reading reviews for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets rave reviews on Rotten Tomatoes,
Right.
but totally bombs on IMDb, you'd be a little suspicious.
Definitely. You'd want to know why there's such a discrepancy.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
same goes for lawyers.
Right.
A truly great lawyer
Mm-hmm.
will shine through with consistent praise,
Right.
not just on one website,
Yeah.
but across several.
Okay.
Look for that consistency across multiple platforms.
Got it.
Pay attention to the source of the review.
Okay.
Is it from a client who had a similar case to yours?
Right.
Or is it a peer in the legal community
Interesting.
who can speak to their expertise?
Right.
These details matter.
Okay. That's a really helpful way to think about it.
Yeah.
So we've got personal referrals. We've got online directories. Let's say we've used those tools and we've narrowed down our list to a few promising candidates.
Okay.
What comes next?
Now it's time to dig a little deeper.
Okay.
Think of it like choosing a doctor or a contractor for a major renovation.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just pick the first name on the list, right?
Oh, no, definitely not.
You would do your research.
Yeah.
Similarly, with a lawyer, you want to look at their credentials, their areas of specialization,
Right.
their experience in cases like yours, and of course, their reputation.
Right.
What specifically stands out to you in the research about this stage of the process?
Well, one thing that really jumps out is this emphasis on communication and accessibility.
Yes.
Why is that so crucial in a legal context? I mean, obviously, you want to be able to reach your lawyer.
Right.
But it seems like it's even more than that.
You're hitting on something really important.
Okay.
You see, even the most brilliant legal mind
Right.
can be ineffective.
Wow. if they can't communicate clearly with their client,
interesting.
If your lawyer doesn't listen to you,
Right.
if they can't explain things in a way you understand, or if they're constantly unavailable, it can create a level of stress and frustration.
Oh, for sure.
That's truly detrimental to your case.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
You're already dealing with a legal issue.
Yeah.
The last thing you need is to be like battling with your own lawyer.
Right.
Just to get a straight answer.
Exactly.
So how can you tell if communication is going to be an issue before you even hire someone?
Right.
Are there red flags to watch out for during that initial consultation?
Absolutely. Pay close attention to how they interact with you.
Okay.
During that first meeting, do they genuinely listen to your concerns?
Right.
Or are they just waiting for their turn to talk?
Interesting.
Can they explain complex legal concepts in a way that makes sense to you? Or do they use a lot of jargon?
Yeah.
And leave you feeling more confused than before?
Right.
Do they seem genuinely interested in helping you?
Okay.
Or are they just trying to sell you their services?
Right.
These are all crucial signs.
Okay, so it's almost like a first date.
Yeah.
You're trying to see if there's like a good vibe.
Right.
If you can picture yourself working with this person long term.
Exactly.
But what if everything seems great at first and then communication starts to slip once you've hired them,
right.
you know? Your research mentions this whole section on concerns to be aware of.
Right.
And communication issues are at the top of the list.
Yeah, they are.
How do you bring those issues up without feeling like you're being difficult?
Yeah.
Or jeopardizing your case?
That's a great question, and it's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Remember, a good lawyer-client relationship is a partnership.
Right.
You're both working towards the same goal.
Yeah. And open, respectful communication is essential.
Right.
If something isn't working, don't be afraid to address it directly.
Yeah.
But frame it in a way that focuses on finding solutions together.
Right.
Rather than placing blame.
Okay, so instead of saying, you never answer my emails, it's more like, hey, I've noticed there have been some delays in getting responses.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if we could talk about how to streamline our communication moving forward.
Exactly. You're not attacking them.
Right.
You're expressing your concerns and working collaboratively to find a solution.
Right.
And honestly, if you've chosen a lawyer who genuinely cares about their clients, they'll welcome that open dialogue.
Yeah.
They want you to feel heard and understood.
That makes me feel better because I know I would be terrified to, confront my lawyer about something like that.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's this power dynamic, you know.
Right.
It's like they're the expert, and I'm just supposed to trust whatever they say.
I get that, and it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But remember, you're hiring them to work for you.
Right.
They're there to represent your interests. And if you don't feel like you're being heard or respected, that's a problem.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Personal referrals, online directories, the importance of communication, and even how to address those tricky situations when things aren't quite right.
Right.
But there's one more thing I want to touch upon before we move on.
Okay.
The thorny issue of fees.
Yeah.
Your research mentions different billing structures, retainer fees, contingency fees.
Right.
It's all a bit overwhelming.
It is.
Help us unpack this a bit.
Okay.
What are the key things listeners should be aware of when it comes to legal fees?
That's a crucial topic.
Yeah.
And one that often causes a lot of anxiety.
For sure.
You're right.
Yeah.
There are different ways lawyers structure their fees, and it can be confusing.
Right.
But here's the thing. You absolutely have the right to ask for a clear explanation of their fee structure upfront.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
And make sure you understand exactly what you're paying for.
Got it.
In fact,
Yeah.
this is a great way to gauge their communication style early on.
Oh, okay.
Can they explain these complex financial matters in a way that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Are they patient? Are they transparent?
Right.
These are good signs.
Oh, that's it's almost like a mini test.
Yeah.
Of their ability to communicate effectively.
Right.
Okay, so let's see you've had that conversation.
Yeah.
You understand the fees. You feel good about the communication.
Okay.
Are there any other red flags related to fees that we should be on the lookout for?
Absolutely. One thing to watch out for is unexpected or hidden fees.
Okay.
Sometimes there are costs associated with things like filing documents, court fees, expert witness testimony, things that aren't necessarily included in the initial fee agreement.
Right, okay.
Make sure you ask about these potential additional costs up front.
Okay.
So you're not caught off guard later on.
Right. Got it. So it's all about transparency and clear communication from the get-go.
Exactly.
And this might be a silly question.
Okay.
But is it ever okay to negotiate fees with a lawyer?
Uh-huh.
Or is that, like, considered taboo?
It's not silly at all. It's actually perfectly reasonable to discuss fees with your lawyer.
Okay.
Remember, you're entering into a business relationship.
Right.
And it's important that both parties feel comfortable with the terms.
That makes sense. I think sometimes people are afraid to talk about money.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to something as serious as, like, legal matters.
Right.
But you're right. It's a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And we should approach it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about personal referrals, online directories,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of communication, addressing those awkward moments when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And even the sometimes uncomfortable topic of legal fees.
Right.
I feel like we're starting to get, like, a good grasp on the initial steps of this whole process.
That's a process.
But now I'm really curious.
Okay.
How does this whole finding the right lawyer thing change?
Yeah.
Depending on the specific legal issue you're facing.
That's a fantastic question.
Mm.
And it leads us perfectly into the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Because you're right. The type of lawyer you need,
right,
the specific expertise they should have,
mm-hmm.
the questions you should ask, all of that can vary dramatically. Depending on the legal situation that you're in.
Okay, I'm hooked. I'm ready to dive into some real-world scenarios.
Okay.
And see how all of this plays out in practice.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Welcome back to our deep dive into finding the right lawyer.
I'm excited to put all this knowledge to work. I feel like we've laid like a really great foundation.
Yeah.
But now I'm really curious to see how it all plays out in, like, different situations.
Okay.
So let's dive into some real-world scenarios.
Let's do it.
What if I'm starting a small business?
Okay.
And need help with things like contracts and legal structure.
Yeah.
Where do I even begin?
What a perfect example. Starting a business is exciting.
Right.
But it also comes with a whole slew of legal considerations.
Right.
So in your case, you would want to look for a lawyer who specializes in business law.
Okay.
Particularly in areas like contract drafting.
Right.
And entity formation.
Okay, so business law is like the broad specialty.
Yes.
But then within that, there are even more specific areas of expertise.
It's like going to the doctor.
Right.
You wouldn't see a cardiologist for a broken bone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You want someone with the right experience for your specific needs.
Okay, so would you recommend I, like, start with personal referrals from other small business owners?
Absolutely. Talking to people who have been in your shoes can provide invaluable insights.
Okay.
It can tell you about their experiences with specific lawyers,
right,
their communication style, their fees, whether they felt supported throughout the process, networking events, industry associations, even online forums for entrepreneurs. Can be great places to find those connections.
Okay, so I, like, hit up my network, do some online research, and I've got a list of, like, potential candidates.
Okay.
What should I be focusing on during those, like, initial consultations?
Remember, these consultations are like mini interviews.
Okay.
You're trying to gauge not just their competence, but also their compatibility with you and your business.
It's like that first date analogy again.
Exactly. Pay attention to how they communicate.
Okay.
Do they actively listen to your business goals and concerns?
Right.
Do they explain legal concepts clearly?
Okay.
And answer your questions thoroughly? Right.
Do they seem genuinely interested in helping you succeed? Or are they just going through the motions?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just about finding the most experienced lawyer.
Right.
It's about finding someone who's also, like, a good communicator.
Yeah.
And a good fit for your personality and, like, business style.
You nailed it. You want someone who can translate complex legal jargon into plain English.
Right.
Someone who can guide you through the process. And someone who will be a true advocate for your business.
Right.
And remember, you're the client.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask about their experience with startups, their fee structure, their approach to communication, anything that's important to you.
Okay, that's super helpful. Now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
I imagine a lot of our listeners might be facing, like, family legal matters.
Yeah.
Things like divorce or child custody disputes.
Right.
These situations are already, like, emotionally charged.
Yeah, definitely. So finding the right lawyer must feel even more crucial.
You're right. The stakes are often much higher in family law cases.
Right.
And the emotional aspect adds a whole other layer of complexity in these situations.
Okay.
Finding a lawyer who is not only competent,
Mm-hmm.
but also empathetic and compassionate becomes paramount.
Right.
You need someone who can guide you through the legal process with sensitivity and understanding.
Right.
Someone who can help you navigate those difficult emotions.
Yeah.
While also advocating for your best interests.
Yeah. The last thing you need is a lawyer who's going to, add to the stress and drama.
Exactly. So look for someone who has extensive experience in family law.
Okay.
A strong track record of success in cases similar to yours.
Right.
And a demeanor that makes you feel comfortable and supported.
Mm.
Again, those initial consultations are key.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Oh, okay.
If you feel uncomfortable or unheard, if their communication style doesn't resonate with you, keep looking.
Okay. So far, we've talked about scenarios involving starting a business. And navigating, family legal matters.
Yes.
What about something like a personal injury case?
Okay.
Those can be pretty complex, right?
They can be, especially when you're dealing with insurance companies and medical records.
Right. Yeah.
So in those cases, you want a lawyer who has deep expertise in personal injury law, a proven track record of successful settlements, and a strong understanding of the medical aspects involved.
So someone who can, connect the dots between the legal and medical worlds.
Precisely. They should be able to analyze medical records, consult with medical experts, and understand how your injuries impact your case.
Got it.
They also need to be skilled negotiators, capable of advocating for your best interests and securing the compensation you deserve.
Right.
And as we've discussed, communication is crucial.
Yes.
You want someone who can explain the process clearly, answer your questions thoroughly, and keep you informed every step of the way.
It's interesting how this theme of communication keeps coming up no matter what type of legal situation we're talking about.
Right.
It really underscores how essential that lawyer-client relationship is.
Absolutely. Without clear, open, and respectful communication.
Right.
It's very difficult to build trust.
Right.
Understand the nuances of your case, and ultimately achieve your goals.
Okay.
And it's not just about the lawyer communicating effectively with you. Right. It's also about their ability to communicate effectively with the other parties involved.
Oh, okay.
Like opposing counsel, judges, even juries.
Interesting.
A skilled communicator can make a huge difference in the outcome of your case.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've explored different scenarios.
Yeah.
Highlighted those crucial red flags to watch out for. Talked about the importance of feeling comfortable and understood throughout the process.
Yes.
But there's one more area I want to touch on before we wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
The importance of specialization.
Yes.
Your research mentions this quite a bit.
It does.
Can you talk more about why it's so important to find a lawyer who specializes in the specific area of law related to your case?
It's tempting to think that a lawyer is a lawyer.
Right.
That they can handle any type of case.
Yeah.
But the reality is the law is vast and complex. And even within broad areas like business law or family law, there are countless subspecialties.
Oh, wow.
Think of it like medicine. Again, you wouldn't want a general practitioner performing brain surgery.
Exactly.
You want a specialist who has dedicated their career to understanding the intricacies of that specific area.
Okay, I see your point.
Yeah.
But how do you find out if a lawyer truly specializes in your type of case? Is it just a matter of looking at their website or asking them?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper.
Okay.
Ask about their experience in cases similar to yours. How many cases have they handled in this area? What were the outcomes?
Right.
Have they published articles or given presentations on this topic?
Oh, interesting.
Have they received any awards or recognition for their work in this field?
Wow. Okay.
These are all signs of true specialization.
So it's about going beyond the surface level.
Yes.
And really understanding their depth of knowledge.
Right.
In that particular area of law.
Exactly. And you can also look for credentials that are specific to their area of practice. For example, if you're dealing with a personal injury case, you might want to see if the lawyer is board certified in personal injury law.
Got it.
Or if you have a complex tax issue, you might look for a lawyer who is a certified public accountant as well.
Oh, okay.
These additional credentials demonstrate a higher level of expertise.
Those are great tips. I'm realizing that finding the right lawyer is kind of like detective work.
Yeah.
You have to gather all the clues, weigh the evidence, and make an informed decision.
I love that analogy. Yeah. It's about being proactive, asking the right questions, and trusting your instincts.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone in this process.
Right.
There are resources available to help you.
Oh, that's right. Your research mentions resources like bar associations and legal aid organizations. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Absolutely. Bar associations are professional organizations for lawyers.
Yep.
And many of them offer referral services that can connect you with lawyers in your area who specialize in the type of law you need help with.
Okay.
They can also provide information about disciplinary actions against lawyers.
Interesting.
Which can be a really valuable resource.
So it's like a quality control check.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
And then there are legal aid organizations, which provide free or low-cost legal services to people who can't afford to hire a lawyer.
Okay.
If you're facing financial constraints, these organizations can be an invaluable resource.
That's great to know. I think sometimes people assume that legal help is like always expensive.
Yeah.
But there are options out there for, like, those who need assistance.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've explored different scenarios, talked about the importance of specialization, and even learned about some additional resources that can help us on this journey.
Yeah.
But now I'm wondering, how do we actually make that final decision?
Yeah.
How do we know when we found the one?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And it's something that we'll delve into in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Because it's not just about checking all the boxes on a list.
Right.
It's about finding that unique combination of expertise, compatibility, and trust that makes you feel confident and empowered throughout the entire legal process.
Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right.
I can't wait to hear your insights on making that final decision and setting ourselves up for success.
Let's do it.
All right, we've made it to the final part of our deep dive.
Yeah.
We've talked about everything from the power of personal referrals to, like, deciphering those sometimes cryptic online reviews.
Right.
And even navigating those tricky communication issues that can pop up. But now, let's talk about the moment of truth.
Yeah.
You've done all your research. You've met with potential lawyers.
Right.
You've weighed all those factors. How do you actually choose the one?
It's a big decision.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It is.
And after all that research and those consultations, it's easy to feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But remember, this isn't just about finding a lawyer who ticks all the boxes on a checklist. It's about finding the right fit for you.
You've mentioned that gut feeling a few times.
Yeah.
Is that really what it comes down to?
It plays a big role, actually.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You're going to be sharing very personal and often sensitive information with this person. You're going to be relying on their expertise and judgment, and you're going to be going through this journey together, which can sometimes be quite stressful.
Yeah, for sure.
So beyond all the practical considerations, take some time to reflect on those consultations.
Right.
Who did you feel most comfortable with? Who did you feel truly understood your needs and concerns?
Right.
Whose communication style really resonated with you?
So it's not just about who has the flashiest website.
Right.
Or like the most impressive list of courtroom victories.
Exactly.
It's about who you feel like you can truly connect with.
Yeah.
On a personal level.
Legal matters can be incredibly stressful and emotionally draining.
Yeah.
You want someone who will not just be your legal advisor, but also a supportive guide throughout the process. Someone you feel comfortable being open and honest with, even when things get tough.
Okay. So you've made your decision.
Right.
You've hired your lawyer.
Yeah.
What can you do to set yourself up for success? Like a successful attorney-client relationship.
Okay.
Right from the start.
We've said it before, and we'll say it again. Communication is key.
Right.
Be upfront about your expectations, your preferred communication style, and any concerns you have.
Right.
Don't be shy about asking questions.
Right.
Clarifying anything that's unclear and voicing your opinions.
Okay.
Remember, this is a partnership.
Yeah.
You're both working towards the same goal.
It's about being an active participant in your own case.
Exactly.
Not just like a passive observer.
A good lawyer wants you to be informed and involved.
Okay.
They should welcome your input and value your perspective. It's a two-way street.
But what if, despite your best efforts,
Yeah,
like issues arise during the course of your case?
right.
We talked earlier about addressing concerns directly.
Yeah.
But what if those conversations don't lead to, like, a resolution? What are your options then?
It's a tough situation to be in.
Yeah.
But you do have options. First, revisit your retainer agreement. It outlines the terms of your relationship with the lawyer.
Right.
And might include procedures for resolving disputes.
Okay.
If direct communication hasn't worked.
Right.
You could suggest mediation.
Okay.
Where a neutral third party helps facilitate a conversation.
So it's like bringing in, like, a referee to help you guys communicate more effectively.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
A skilled mediator can help both sides understand each other's perspectives and hopefully find common ground.
Right.
And sometimes just having that neutral third party present can help diffuse tension and create a more productive dialogue.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if even mediation doesn't work?
Right.
Is it possible to, like, switch lawyers mid-case?
It is possible.
Okay.
But it can be a complicated process.
Right.
You'll want to carefully consider the potential implications, such as the cost of bringing a new lawyer up to speed on your case,
Okay.
potential delays in your case,
Right.
and even the possibility of your former lawyer having a lien on any settlement or judgment you receive.
Okay.
It's definitely not a decision to be taken lightly.
So what would you recommend someone do if they're, like, in that situation?
If you're seriously considering switching lawyers, it's crucial to consult with another attorney to get a second opinion.
Right.
They can help you assess the pros and cons,
Okay.
understand the potential risks, and guide you through the process.
Okay. So it's always a good idea to seek a second opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when you're facing a major decision like that. And it goes back to that idea of being proactive and advocating for yourself throughout this whole process.
Exactly. You are the CEO of your own case, so to speak.
Yeah.
You have the right to seek legal representation that you feel is in your best interests, even if that means making a change.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot of practical advice.
We have.
But before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something you said earlier.
Yeah.
The importance of finding the right fit. Beyond all the, like, checklists and criteria.
Right.
What does that actually mean?
Yeah.
What does that ideal attorney-client relationship look like?
That's a great question, and it's something I encourage all our listeners to really reflect on.
Okay.
It's about finding a lawyer whose values align with yours, whose communication style makes you feel heard and understood,
Right.
and who you feel genuinely trusts and respects your perspective.
Okay.
It's about feeling like you're on the same team, working together towards a common goal.
It's about more than just winning or losing a case.
Yeah.
It's about feeling supported and empowered throughout the entire journey.
Absolutely. And when you find that right fit, that sense of partnership, it can make all the difference in the world.
I bet.
It can transform what can often feel like an intimidating and overwhelming experience into something that feels manageable, even empowering.
That's such a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
All right.
Beyond all the practical steps we've discussed, take some time to really think about what your ideal attorney-client relationship looks like.
Yes.
What are your non-negotiables? What would make you feel truly confident and comfortable throughout this process?
I love that, because those answers, that personal reflection can truly guide you toward the right choice and set you up for a positive and empowering experience, even in the face of challenging legal circumstances.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of finding the right lawyer.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel better equipped to navigate this often complex process. And remember, you've got this.
You do.